I don't know how you're feeling, but I'm feeling pretty great. I mean, we're all taking a breath, to smell that sweet smell of victory. You remember when Donald Trump said you're going to get sick of winning? I'm still not sick of it. Not at all. I'm not sure we felt this way in 2016. I mean, did we? After Donald Trump? Yes. After he defeated Hillary Clinton, I'm sorry. I almost made a mistake and said it wasn't as sweet, but then I remembered he ran against Hillary. It was sweetness, nonstop sweetness. But we never anticipated what was about to happen next. And I don't think the president did either. He thought, it can't be all that, right? We failed to realize the damage that 100 years of Woodrow Wilson and 8 years of Barack Obama, what it had done to our country. Progressives came in and underwent a massive heart transplant on our country. The heart is the core, but they changed it. They swapped it out and made it the administrative state, the deep state, where experts control everything in our lives because, in their view, we can't let the peasants make their own decisions. We know better, right? This was never meant to be our intended future. In George Washington's farewell address, he talked about the unity of the states and the principles of the new grand American experiment as being the heart of this great country. In Thomas Jefferson's inaugural address, he talked about the American people as a whole, as America's, quote, mighty heart. But you're not the heart anymore. Do you feel like you're the heart? Do you feel like you're the one that if you stop working, everybody goes, crap? I don't. I feel like they're trying to get you to stop working. It's almost like they don't care. You're not the heart anymore because the progressives removed our nation's heart, you and me, the ideas of independence, and replaced it with the administrative deep state. Our founders foresaw this. They knew this would happen. But what they didn't have was the words deep state back in the late 1700s. I mean, they had to go potty outside. Do you expect them to come up with deep state? In Federalist 48, James Madison wrote, "The accumulation of all powers, legislative, executive, judiciary, in the same hands, whether of one, a few, or many, and whether hereditary or self-appointed or elective, may justly be pronounced the very definition of tyranny." Oh man, that's a lot of big words. What is he talking about? He's saying you can't have everything run by just a few people in those private hands to make all of those decisions. That's tyranny. Our government has now fully conceded the powers of all three branches of the government to the bureaucrats, the ones that don't answer to anyone, including I think they don't even think they answer. Ask the State Department, do you work for the President of the United States? Nope. But wait, that's part of the administration, so that's supposed to be the boss, but they don't. Who runs the country right now? Don't even think about that because I have no idea. Where's Kamala? Where's Biden? I don't know. At the beach, in space, could be anywhere. Let's just move on from that thought. And metaphorically, who is running our country? Is it the elected officials or is it the EPA, the people at the Department of Energy, the Department of Labor, or the trade unions? Who really affects your life? The president or the guy who comes in with a little piece of paper and pencil and says, yeah, I'm from the federal government? What decides law and order and justice? Is it the Constitution, or is it a handful of vengeful, spiteful, and petty grievances from people at the DOJ, FBI, or the ridiculous Ninth Circuit Court? However, the Ninth Circuit Court has been surprising lately. I will just say that. Now, I say that is it a bunch of vengeful, spiteful people? If you're on the left, you say, that's exactly who he's going to bring in. He's going to... Good for you. Good. You've got the first half of the equation. No one should be afraid of the administrative state. We should be able to switch presidents, and one side shouldn't be like, they're going to arrest us in the middle of the night. That's a sign there's a problem. Now, who sets our foreign policy? President and Congress? Or is it more faces deep within? I used to think of the State Department. Now I think it's the State Department and the CIA, the Pentagon, maybe the people at Boeing. I don't know. I mean, they can't keep planes in the sky. It seems like they're run with the government now. The answer to these questions, you know them just as well as I do. And this scared the hell out of our founders. Thomas Jefferson wrote in 1816, and if I may quote, "The functionaries of every government have propensities." Can't you just dumb it down? "To command at the will the liberty and property of their constituents. If that happens, there is no safe deposit for these but with the people themselves, nor can they be safe with them without information." What's he saying here? I have no idea. Too many big words. The deep state now controls at will our liberty, our property, our freedom. You don't think that's true? How about what just happened with COVID? What is, if you're on the left again, what are you afraid Donald Trump will do? He'll use what? The Justice Department? Weaponize it against you, your friends, his enemies? Right, that's what we've been saying for 4 years. And that's what nobody's really talking about. They keep talking about the two sides, but both of the sides have helped create this mess where we're all afraid of the deep state. The information that Jefferson was talking about, now what's called the fourth branch of government, is the legacy media. We elect figureheads with mandates, but when they arrive, do things really change? They're just going into offices that don't really control anything. Alexander Hamilton wrote in Federalist 70, quote, listen, if this doesn't sound like where we are now, "A feeble executive implies feeble execution of the government. A government ill executed, whatever it may be in theory, must be in practice a bad government." No feeble executive comes to mind here. Consider this. The men that founded this nation say the opposite of what the mainstream media always says about people like me. They just hate the government. They just want to tear it all apart. Well, not in the way you mean it, but our founders hated the government. They hated it. They saw the administrative deep state as something far more terrifying than we ever will, because they lived through it. George Washington, in his farewell address of 1796, said it the best, quote, "Government is not reason. It is not eloquence. It is force. And force, like fire, is a dangerous servant and a fearful master." I want the t-shirt. We were warned about all of this, but everywhere, everything the founders feared is now beating stronger than ever, right at the core of the American body. May I? Don't do this at home again, because I am a doctor. This patient has been very, very ill in the last few episodes. We got to get rid of the lungs, because this is what's happened. We won the election battle, right? But the real war, it's just getting started. I'm going to show you the real war of what's really going to happen here in the next few weeks. It's not what you think. We gave the Trump administration a historic mandate to dismantle the deep states. Okay? There's lots of deep state in this part of the body. You know what I'm saying? And like all hostile regimes, when you try to do it, the primary function when it's under attack becomes survival. Right now, if this was a real body and I just took out its, it'd be dead. But let's just say the whole body would be working to survive right now. That's what we experienced during Trump's first term, and it's about to happen again at lightning speed, because now the surgeon has scalpels. Now the surgeon knows what he's looking for. And the deep state survival technique is the old progressive model. It's top down, bottom up, inside out, and overwhelm and collapse. So they'll do everything they can to distract. You know, it's usually a bloody process, sometimes metaphorically, sometimes not. But it's over time, what they do is they take all the organs out, and then they might put them back in. But because we're talking since Woodrow Wilson, it's more like they said, okay, we're going to jam a Coke in here, stapler. I got this really nice bendy straw that makes itself into a pineapple. That's kind of cute. Let's put that there. Probably that's a bad place to put it. We have the labor union, so we need a pipe and a wrench, and I got an empty bottle of Fiji, some scissors, and okay. That's what they've done. This is what they've done to our country and its organs. It was never built. Do you think this guy's going to live? Look at him. Not a chance. All right. Their goal is to make everything a mess, but the heart, their core, not the way our founders saw it, but the way they see it, the deep state, that stays right in the middle. And in fact, if they're successful, it grows stronger because it replaces all of the natural organs, you and me. The deep state has actually already been doing this ever since Trump's first term, just trying to survive. They're reacting to the trauma, drawing in all of the blood to keep themselves alive. It's called shock, and we've all been feeling the effects. Think about what's been happening over the past 8 years. The intelligence community, justice systems, weaponized against a sitting president and his supporters. Meanwhile, it decriminalizes people that break the law, turning the American cities into war zones and turning the criminals into the good guys and the good guys into criminals. Scientists and experts ran our COVID response. Now, we all gave them the benefit of the doubt at the beginning because we thought nobody knew what we were dealing with. But they did know what they were dealing with. And they destroyed our civil liberties and our health in the process. They destroyed our kids' education. Why? Because the labor unions had a lead pipe in here. Organizations like FEMA have failed the victims in North Carolina. Why? Why? That used to be a pretty well-run organization. We got to a point in the last few years where baby food was scarce. We're the United States of America. People couldn't afford the basics like eggs. Cargo ships were smashing into bridges in record numbers. Fires were destroying our critical infrastructure. China flew a balloon over the country and we did nothing. The first day he was in office, Biden issued the military a stand-down order for political motives, all the while bungling things like Afghanistan. This body is in shock, while the deep state draws desperately every ounce of energy and blood it can muster. It is attempting to prevent a total heart failure, and it's about to get worse. But that's the only organ we really need to work on, and I can't get this organ out of here. This is the organ. We need to work on this one. Their heart, the progressive deep state. This is why we can't bask in the election victory for very long. When we come back to work, we got to come back to work. We all said, oh, well, Donald Trump has it fixed. No. That's great. But we have to be involved in all of this. We can't make the same mistake we made in 2016. Progressives never see themselves as fully losing an election. All they do is just shift into pumping more blood into the heart. Tonight, I'm going to show you their attack plan. It's advancing exactly as expected. I'm going to show you exactly what Trump and his movement have standing in their way. And it's going to come top down, bottom up, inside out. The shadow cabinet that's being formed right now. They kept saying there's no deep state. Now they'll come out and tell you, well, we need to put together, out loud on the floor of the Senate, we need to put together a shadow cabinet. What? The federal judges, the state legislators, the governors, this is already all of it in play to pump blood into the deep state and protect that deep state. They will leverage the federal judges to block everything the administration tries to do or change. The building of coalitions of state legislators and governments to throw up an iron curtain, but it will also come from the bottom up. Now, most people think Antifa or BLM, but later in the show, I'm going to show you what the ACLU did to Trump during his first term, and you can bank on the fact they're planning on doing something just like that right now. In the end, everything inside out and upside down. And when that happens, it kind of looks like this guy. It doesn't really work out. Doesn't our country kind of feel like that? It's a mess. But what stays right at the center of the body? The heart. That should be us. Over the next few months and years, this is what we are fighting for. We won this election, but we're still very much in opposition mode. We were blindsided after Trump won in 2016. We cannot allow that to happen again.